Swallowed Star Episode 204 Explanation. Inside, the ancient Chaos City was peaceful as always. 3 purple messengers were walking on the street and reached True Yang Emperor's house. It's the purple messengers of the primal Chaos City leader. The purple messengers are here. The most frequently seen messengers normally wore black. Some of the students in True Yang Emperor's house were startled, as they'd rarely seen the arrival of purple messengers. They knew something significant had happened. Go, tell the teacher. After only a short while, True Yang Emperor came out and greeted them himself. He was also baffled. 3 purple messengers are here, he said. 1 black messenger is enough, normally. What's the point of sending 3 purple messengers here? Congratulations, True Yang Emperor. The tallest messenger laughed. Congratulations. The other 2 purple knights laughed along. Why do you congratulate me? Come, sit inside. True Yang Emperor led the 3 messengers into the hall, and several students served some wine and fruits. They left after duty, as they knew they were not supposed to meddle with some major issues. That left only the 3 messengers and True Yang Emperor in the hall. It's such great news. The tall messenger beamed and brought out a metal box. What's so mysterious? True Yang Emperor took and opened it. There was a hexagonal stone tablet inside, on which was sculpted a roaring beast god. True Yang Emperor was dazed, and his hand started to tremble. He picked up the stone tablet, and his eyes turned red. He caressed this tablet as if he were worried that it was a phantom. His voice faltered as he said, "Beast God Inheritance Token. It's the Beast God Inheritance Token. For such a long time, practically forever, I've always wanted it." True Yang Emperor's body trembled. Now, I've finally got the chance. Finally. He was stuck at the last step for what felt like an infinite amount of time. Although the token could help him greatly, it was almost impossible to get one. The tokens were extremely rare in the universe, as they represented the most special inheritance of ancestral God School. Perhaps there were only a few of each type of the tokens within the human race, and the race needed to prepare for the potential peerless talents in the future. The tokens would only be granted under few circumstances. He couldn't make the final breakthrough if he didn't get the token. It was indeed only 1 step, but it was like a chasm, separating countless emperors from universe knights. Thank you, Primal Chaos City leader. True Yang Emperor kneeled with excitement. Thank you, seniors. I'll strive to become a universe knight and live up to the expectations. Please, get up. The tall messenger helped True Yang Emperor to his feet. The race rewarded with a token. True Yang Emperor was thrilled. It's not from the race. It's from your student Luo Feng. Luo Feng? True Yang Emperor was stupefied. Yes, your student Luo Feng, the tall messenger continued. I was serving the Primal Chaos City leader in the Primal Secret region. The Primal Chaos City leader asked us to come here directly and give this to you. As for Luo Feng, he's still with the Primal Chaos City leader in the Primal Secret region. How did he get the token? True Yang Emperor suddenly had complicated feelings. My student was also following the path of Beast God, and he could certainly trade this token for another. Why did he give this to me? No matter how close the relationship between the teacher and the student, the powerful ones would do everything in their power to improve themselves. Giving the insignificant ones to their teachers could be regarded as gratitude. True Yang Emperor, you have a great student. We won't stay for long, as we need to go back and report, the tall messenger said. We'll escort ourselves out. The 3 messengers left. True Yang Emperor was both exhilarated and anxious. Even though he had desired the token for so long, he felt like it was too much. True Yang Emperor connected to the virtual universe and sent 10 emails to Luo Feng before coming to Luo Feng's manor in Yuseong Mountain. Luo Feng, True Yang Emperor shouted, which baffled all the servants and the guards. Teacher. Luo Feng soon got out of the hall. Come with me. True Yang Emperor grabbed Luo Feng and entered the hall. True Yang Emperor couldn't wait to yell, where did you get the token? Did you get it from our race? Don't you know how important it is to you? You're following the path of Beast God yourself. How could you just give it up and hand it in to your teacher? I'll be restless knowing you've traded your future for mine. And you know if I can't be tranquil, I might fail even if I enter the land of inheritance. Please relax, teacher, Luo Feng said. I got it myself instead of getting it from my race. You got it yourself? True Yang Emperor was startled. It was not so easy to get one. Once other powerful ones found it, they would use their godly power to penetrate it and discern how important it was. Usually, they would just hand it in to their race. That was how most of the tokens were held by the races. It's true. I obtained it by myself. Luo Feng said. Just think about this. I gave this to you in the hands of the Primal Chaos City leader. If I actually got it from our race, the Primal Chaos City leader wouldn't allow me to do so. That makes sense. True Yang Emperor nodded his head. The Primal Chaos City leader won't let you be reckless. Just use it now, teacher, Luo Feng continued. It's not difficult for me to get a token from our race. You'll definitely be valued by our race based on your potential, and you're more than qualified to get the token. Even the Seven-Blade Emperor, who is less talented than you, could get one. True Yang Emperor nodded his head and frowned. However, you need to become an Undying to get the token, and that's going to take a long time. Please don't worry about that, teacher. Luo Feng smiled. Did you forget that I'm Blade River Emperor, teacher? I'm already powerful enough to get one, and the Primal Chaos City leader will file an application for me. He told me that it would succeed given his presence and my genius. True Yang Emperor sighed. The Primal Chaos City leader is the ruler of the virtual universe. Okay, he'll definitely succeed. Luo Feng, I've benefited so much from you. It was a piece of cake. Luo Feng beamed. Deep in the primal secret region, the Thousand Treasure River surrounded the stars. Luo Feng was sitting on top of one of the palaces and looked at the river from afar. He thought back to what the Primal Chaos City leader had told him. Luo Feng, this is the date when we'll know whether you can get the token or not. If it fails, you'll have to wait until you become an Undying. I hope it can succeed. I will succeed, said Luo Feng as he sat on the top of the palace with his legs crossed. Land of Inheritance, the sacred place of ancestral god school. How exciting. Time passed. Luo Feng was growing anxious from waiting. However, he knew that the seniors from all the 5 powers of the human race were negotiating the decision. Could they make an exception for Luo Feng? Could Luo Feng succeed? After a long while, Luo Feng heard a peaceful voice. Luo Feng. Luo Feng turned around and saw the Primal Chaos City leader holding the rugged stone stick. Luo Feng's heart missed a beat, as he knew the meeting had ended and a decision had been made. Luo Feng stood up and greeted him. Teacher. The meeting's over, the Primal Chaos City leader said. I can tell by the look on your face how concerned you are. Rest assured, because it's good news. The application was approved, and your identity as Blade River Emperor thrilled the masters of the universe of our race. They all think highly of you, and thus I don't need to put forth too much effort. Luo Feng was overjoyed. He didn't believe what the Primal Chaos City leader said and was certain his teacher had pulled lots of strings. Thank you, teacher, Luo Feng said. I won't fail you and the other masters of the universe. Just don't fail the human race. The Primal Chaos City leader burst into laughter. The token will be sent to you in 2 days, and I've already told True Yang to come to the Primal Secret region to meet with you. You'll go to the land of inheritance together. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng was cheerful. The human race was efficient, and the token arrived after only 1 day. Beast God Inheritance Token. Luo Feng started to examine the hexagonal metal tablet in his hands. There was a single horned lizard sculpture on the tablet, which was the beast god of Blood River World. However, it was not as distinct as the one Luo Feng had gotten before, and it did not contain any lore. How marvelous the metal is. I've never heard of it. Luo Feng caressed the tablet and penetrated it with his spiritual force. The information struck his mind. It was the same as the one before. They even had identical coordinates. True Yang Emperor took off from Primal Chaos City immediately after Luo Feng told him the news and arrived at the Primal Secret region on the same day. Inside the transportation center of the primal secret region, Luo Feng was dressed in black armor and Tru Yang Emperor in gold as they departed from their spaceship and landed on the boundless expanse of the primal secret region. Here, many transportation channels had been built for the purpose of godly kingdom transportation. Creatures here didn't need to fear the risk of discovery. "Teacher, we're far from the land of inheritance," Luo Feng said. "Do you have the coordinates of any nearby locations?" "The closest is 1 billion light-years away," Tru Yang Emperor said. "That far?" Luo Feng was startled. A distance of 1 billion light-years would take them a whole year to cross. "One of my servants has some coordinates. Maybe we can cut down on the journey by half a year or so." Luo Feng waved his hands, and a barbarian creature covered with scales appeared. It had a purple membrane on its face, and its appearance drew the attention of many powerful warriors in the area. Murmurs went up among the crowd. "It's Tru Yang Emperor. How is it possible that Tru Yang Emperor left Primal Chaos City? He actually left. Then who is the one with him? The man in the black armor? Could that be Blade River Emperor? Everyone says Blade River Emperor is Luo Feng, and we all know Luo Feng is a student of Tru Yang Emperor. This black-armored man standing with Tru Yang Emperor. Can you feel the force emanating from him? It could be Blade River Emperor concealing his wings." None of these individuals made any efforts to lower their voices. They deliberately let Luo Feng hear them in order to observe his reaction. Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor looked at one another. "They're quite astute," Tru Yang Emperor said, speaking to Luo Feng telepathically. "Your reputation precedes you. It's not surprising that they've guessed it," replied Luo Feng. "Others already have. And rumor has it that my invaluable treasure is the silver wing. Besides, there are only so many powerful individuals within the human race, and everyone knows each other. It's little wonder that an earthling whom they have never seen before who suddenly shows up with you, of all people, is the subject of suspicion." "You're in big trouble," Tru Yang Emperor teased. Luo Feng shrugged. It's not necessarily bad to be famous." He turned to his servant and said aloud, "Perform godly kingdom transportation." "Yes, master," said the barbarian servant. It started the transportation process immediately. A flash of aqua-blue light surrounded Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor. In an instant, they saw a boundless world at the other end of the light. It was the godly kingdom of the barbarian race. Luo Feng, Tru Yang Emperor, and the servant all vanished. They soon arrived at a quiet place far away from the territory of humans, a star in a remote region of the universe. "Disguising a ship as a star," said Tru Yang Emperor. "Your servant is very interesting." "There are infinite stars in the universe," replied Luo Feng. "The perfect disguise for any object." The teacher and the student flew out to the blinding surface of the star-like object. "How fast can your ship go?" Tru Yang Emperor asked. "In the dark universe, 72 times of the speed of light," said Luo Feng. He sighed. "I had one that was 10% faster, but it was taken away by a universe knight." "Ah, the Green Knight," said Tru Yang Emperor with a nod. "How reckless you were to tangle with him." They had spoken at length in the primal secret region, and Tru Yang Emperor had naturally asked Luo Feng how he had acquired the token. Luo Feng had briefed him without divulging certain important information about the events pertaining to his situation with the Blue Knight. "I have a ship that's 90 times light speed," Tru Yang Emperor said. He smiled at the look on Luo Feng's face. "Finally, I have something to be proud of. 90 times light speed?" Luo Feng was shocked. Tru Yang Emperor waved his hands, and a streamlined, shuttle-shaped spaceship appeared in the sky. It shone with lustrous golden plating. "Master," came an elderly male voice from the spaceship. "You're finally using me. I haven't flown in the dark universe for years." "This is a metal life form," Tru Yang Emperor explained. "I haven't let him out since I first arrived at Primal Chaos City. Come on, let's get in." The door opened, and Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor entered the spaceship. As soon as they were aboard, the ship surged forward, and they entered the dark universe, increasing to light speed in an instant. The ship's speed kept increasing after entering the dark universe. 89 times, 90 times, 91 times, oh, It can't go faster, the metal life form within the ship said joyfully. Suddenly, an image of a cute girl appeared on the control panel, and the ship's voice changed from that of an elderly male to a youthful, energetic female. Master is finally adventuring again. I have been so lonely. Luo Feng, in the middle of a sip of wine, promptly spat a mouthful all over the floor. Where she come from? True Yang Emperor glared at the control panel. Hey, weren't you an old man before? It's been hundreds of millions of years, squealed the metal life form. Is it really so surprising that I would transform? Luo Feng burst into laughter. Teacher, let's face it. Who among us wouldn't change a little over hundreds of millions of years? True Yang Emperor shook his head. Interstellar travel was a boring affair. The scene outside the ship never changed, and life within the ship went on almost as unchanging. Initially, Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor exchanged some pleasantries, but after getting drunk, they both went back to their cabins and started training. At 90 times light speed, it would take 4 months to reach the land of inheritance. Inside the cabin, the body of the Mo Sho clan was present while the original Earthling body went back to the internal world and started to practice 9 Calamity Tome. Inside the internal world, on the boundless prairie, Luo Feng looked at the golden horned beast from afar. It's the third metal of 9 Calamity Tome, said Luo Feng, filled with delight. It really is a lot. The first 2 metals he had gotten before only provided him with the tomes of the first, second, and fifth calamity, and he lacked the tomes for all the other calamities. However, the third metal offered him the tomes of the third and fourth, thus, Luo Feng could practice 3 tomes consecutively. The first calamity makes my genes 3 times stronger, and the second makes them 6 times, he said. The third, 12 times. The fourth, 24 times. Luo Feng looked at the golden horned beast from afar. During the past 2,000 years spent in Ice Hell, the golden horned beast had already accomplished his goal. However, Luo Feng realized there was an issue. The golden horned beast's genes were 10 times stronger than those of humans. And now, after finishing the first 5 calamities of the 9 Calamity Tome, the golden horned beast was 480 times more powerful than humans. It was outrageous to even comprehend. Not even Docus or Silver Eye were more than 100 times stronger than humans. 480 times. Unbelievable. Luo Feng sighed. That means when I become an undying knight, I'll become 100,000 times stronger than a sector lord, while the beast can become 48 million times stronger. Many of the special life forms are not even that mighty. Special life forms generally had genes that possessed 100 times greater potential than those of humans, and even the weakest special life forms were 10 times stronger. A small number of special life forms were 500 times more superior. Only a rare number of them could be 1,000 or even several thousand times finer. The more superior they got, the rarer they were. There were quite a few Docus, whereas Beast Gods and Mountain Sitting Guest were one of a kind. I figured out before that the more superior one's genes are, the less effective Blood River is, said Luo Feng. The force of Blood River could make its right hoof 100 times stronger and its entire body 10 times stronger. However, it's not omnipotent. It can strengthen humans and golden horned beasts, but can it enhance beast gods? It is, after all, the essence of the blood of beast gods. The function of the force was obvious when the genes were at a low level. However, to individuals like Mountain Sitting Guest, it might provide 0 benefit. The golden horned beast had been practicing the 9 Calamity Tome for a long time, and it was already as powerful as a special life form. When the beast exercised the force again, the effect was significantly smaller. The right hoof of the beast is still stronger, said Luo Feng, but it's only twice as strong as the entire body. Luo Feng recalled that it had previously been 10 times mightier than its body. Clearly, the strength of the right hoof could not be improved further. Neither the 4th calamity nor the 5th couldn't improve its strength, as it had already reached its limit. Once the force is exercised, the constitution of the golden horned beast's body will be 1,000 times stronger, Luo Feng mused. That's rare even for special life forms. I suppose I should be content. I'll keep practicing. No wonder 9 Calamity Tome may only be born by the Sky Soul crystal. Only one is qualified to practice it. Luo Feng became more and more powerful by practicing during the course of the journey, and the true power of the tome gradually showed. 4 months later, Luo Feng heard True Yang Emperor's voice calling, "Student! Student! Come out! We're arriving at the land of inheritance." Luo Feng smiled eagerly. The land of inheritance. Inside the control room of the spaceship, Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were looking at the outside through a virtual scene. One gale after another blew everything they touched, as if they were pythons playing among the stars. This is the legendary ancestral god secret region. True Yang Emperor was amazed. The ancestral god secret region is one of the most dangerous secret regions in the universe, Luo Feng said with wonder. It's the same size as a universe country, and dangerous areas are everywhere. Even universe knights can't manage to survive it. There were various levels and areas of the secret regions. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor would certainly research the region, as they had known the coordinates. They were startled to find out that the land of inheritance was located in the ancestral god secret region. As a top-tier secret region filled with hazards and ordinary dangers that could kill a universe knight. In some extremely risky areas, even masters of the universe needed to be careful. Its diameter was 160 million light-years, and it took 200 million years to travel in sublight-year speed. One might need to start the adventure from the birth of the universe to pay the entire region even a cursory inspection. Besides, no one dared to do that. Mysterious. Dangerous. Off-limits. These were the words that best described the ancestral god secret region. One of the most common things in this secret region is Heichong Whirlpool, said True Yang Emperor. Even a small whirlpool can severely injure a universe knight. And a large one can kill them for good. Look. Those are the Heichong whirlpools ahead of us. There are more of them at the back, said Luo Feng. True Yang Emperor turned around and saw a whirlpool that was billions of kilometers long running through the stars. If the whirlpools at the front were like pythons, and the one at the back was hundreds of millions of times mightier. True Yang Emperor was stupefied. This is the Heichong whirlpool at the periphery. Only the one at the outer right is so enormous. We've arrived, Luo Feng said and nodded his head. The spaceship slowed down and stopped. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor flew out. Among the stars were the Heichong whirlpools chasing each other. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor stood amongst the stars and looked at each other. Where is it? Luo Feng said, frowning. I can't see the land of inheritance. Just wait, True Yang Emperor said. Suddenly, the space twisted and sucked them in like a series of swirls. Teleportation, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor thought of this, and everything became clear. They were still both standing in hollow space, but the scene afar was breathtaking. The colorful river was running, emanating a mystical power that was highly enticing. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor both possessed strong wills and realized something was wrong. Quick enough, they heard a cold voice say. They turned around. An 8-meter-high rock undying stood in the hollow. He was dressed in a fiery armor and was green like an emerald. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor realized he was of the Fei Kang clan, one of the rock creatures. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were shocked, as they hadn't realized anything else was here. It's a universe knight, Luo Feng thought. Only a universe knight can teleport without letting us recognize it. Even I can't sense it, True Yang Emperor thought, surprised. I'm the guide of Ancestral God School, the knight said. Give me the token, humans. Or you'll die with it. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor both felt like they were trapped in a fire, and Luo Feng felt like a boat adrift, lost at sea. The guide of the school? He thought. There were gods, beast gods, deified generals, and prophets within the school, and prophets were the weakest. They were merely as powerful as the weakest universe knights. However, this creature of Fei Kang clan emanated a force that was irresistible. Teacher, is he a general? Luo Feng asked mentally. It should be, True Yang Emperor answered. They took out the tokens anyway. The tokens are rare, the knight said with a smile. No wonder the human race is one of the top 6 races. Sending 2 people with tokens at one time is impressive, indeed. Come with me. The knight was flying with Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor aside. Do you see that? The knight pointed to the dreamy and colorful river. They both nodded. Come and look at it closer. The knight teleported them to beside the river. This is. Luo Feng held his breath. It was no river, on the contrary, it was composed of auroras of 5 different colors. He could still see the river shape from afar, whereas he could only feel its boundlessness standing beside it. Is this the 5-color aurora lake? True Yang Emperor asked, thrilled at the idea. You do know something, the knight complimented him. Yes, it is indeed the 5-color aurora lake. A lake. Luo Feng was bewildered and trying to look to the end of the river. Of course, it's a lake, the knight explained. You see it as a river only because you're standing on the same level of it. However, if you fly above and overlook it, you'll see a circular lake. This lake has a diameter of 10 light years and is almighty. One aurora can severely injure a universe night, and it's constituted by countless rays of auroras. It's one of the most forceful, invaluable treasures in the universe. Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor were dazed. Even one aurora was this powerful. This lake is the guarding invaluable treasure of the ancestral god school, the knight continued. Who will dare to trespass with such an invaluable treasure around? One of the most powerful invaluable treasures? Guarding invaluable treasure? True Yang Emperor sighed. No wonder the ancestral god school is the first power of the universe. Luo Feng recalled his star tower instead. There were countless auroras on the surface of the lake, and together, it served as the guarding treasure of the ancestral god school. The spiral of the star tower, which was made up of ceiling stars, was also precious, and together with the heavenly pillar, the star tower was also one of the most forceful invaluable treasures in the universe, according to mountain-sitting guest. What an eye-opener for me to see the 5-color aurora lake, True Yang Emperor said. It's lucky enough for you even to take a look at an invaluable treasure of this level, the knight said, a bit proud. There's another invaluable treasure of this level, Star Tower. That's something that can't be moved by literally anyone, and lots of the powerful ones in the universe still don't know the tower's real power. Star Tower is also one of the most powerful invaluable treasures. True Yang Emperor was shocked. It seems you don't know everything. The knight shook his head. Star Tower is one of the easiest to see but also the most mystical invaluable treasures in the universe. Nobody's been able to figure out the mystery behind it, and nobody can take it away. It's been standing there forever. I'm done talking, and I'll take you to Borhinia Island now, said the knight. With that, he teleported. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor felt a bit dizzy before getting to the edge of the lake. They were only a few hundred meters away from it. Each of the auroras was around 10,000 kilometers long, and its force made Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor shiver. Did you see that? The knight pointed to the deep of the lake. That's the Borhinia Island. What? Inside the lake? They looked in that direction. They could indeed see a blurry island, dim among the auroras. Come in. The knight flew directly inside. Go in. Even though the auroras are forceful? True Yang Emperor couldn't help asking. Rest assured, this is one of the most powerful treasures in the universe, and it won't hurt anyone it recognizes, the knight said. You both have the tokens, and thus, you'll both be fine. True Yang Emperor looked at Luo Feng and said, Student, I'll try first. And then he touched an aurora with his hands. The aurora encircled his arm like running water without attacking him. The knight didn't say anything after seeing this. He had seen how careful and distrustful those heirs were. Let's go, True Yang Emperor said. Yes, teacher, Luo Feng said and followed him into the lake. They felt like they were marching in a real lake, and the auroras comforted their bodies. The island became larger and larger as they approached it. This is Borhinia Island, where your beast god heirs will reside on, the knight said just before they reached the island. And this is the margin of the lake. Borhinia Island, with a diameter of millions of kilometers, was far away from the auroras. The knight, Luo Feng, and True Yang Emperor landed on the island like 3 beams of light. There are so many palaces, said Luo Feng, looking at the palaces on the ground and on the mountain. He could literally feel the force coming from all the palaces in every area. He frowned. There seemed to be lots of powerful ones living here. Look at that, the knight said, pointing to the sky. They both looked up. Huh, said Luo Feng. He saw halos enveloping the entire island. The halos kept swelling before they disappeared, and then, a new halo came into being. Each halo surrounded another in concentric circles like the ripples on the water. They were spreading. Born and vanished. Born and vanished. Again and again. Each halo was made of threads of the law, the time law, space, gold, wood, water, fire, soil, wind, thunder, and light. Each law was mixed in each thread, which made the halos complete and perfect. Luo Feng was amazed as he realized the halos were actually manifesting the laws of the universe. You too, the knight shouted. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor came back to reality. This is. True Yang Emperor was rendered speechless. It's incredible. This is the periphery of the laws. The knight looked at the halos ardently. The ancestral God School is the first power of the universe and is responsible for maintaining the operation of the laws of the universe. And it's protected by the laws. Luo Feng was bewildered. Maintaining the operation of the laws of the universe. The secret region of our school has the most special creatures and treasures, the knight said with great confidence. The 5-colored Aurora Lake was also rewarded by the laws of the universe. What we're doing is following the laws, and ancestral God School is defying the laws of the universe. How overbearing it is, Luo Feng murmured. You don't believe it, said the knight. You'll understand after living here for hundreds of millions of years. The knight glanced at Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor. Hundreds of millions of years. Luo Feng was baffled. Come with me, said the knight. The first thing to do is to build a dwelling place on the island. The knight walked quickly with Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor following him. One step was 1,000 kilometers, and they reached the destination in no time. They could see all forms of palaces and powerful ones of all races while walking on the island. There were billions of races, and all of them were mystical with different shapes and characteristics. Luo Feng could recognize some of the special creatures. How many residents are there on the island? Luo Feng wondered. Other than the island owner, all of the others are the heirs, the knight said. My job is to lead you here, and I'll leave soon. There are a plethora of heirs. You can calculate yourselves. There have been only a few hundred human heirs since the birth of the universe. And when you take into account the entire universe, it's a fair universe, and the tokens were distributed everywhere. There are hundreds of millions of races in the universe, and adding all of them together makes tens of billions of heirs. Tens of billions of heirs. Luo Feng stared at the knight. There are really that many heirs. True Yang Emperor found it hard to believe. It's a vast universe, and humanity is only one of the many races, the knight explained. Only the ancestral gods know how many heirs there are. Of course, there are only 100 million living on the island. 100 million? Luo Feng pondered. What about the others? If an heir dies, the Universe Master will reverse the time to bring back rather the heir than the token. It's too costly to bring back a token, and even a Universe Master is reluctant to pay the price. The knight continued, each of the heirs comes with a token, and the second you step in here, your life and the token are bound. The token will be shattered if you die, and it can never be reused. Many powerful heirs died. That's why there are only 100 million of them now. The knight finished explaining. They walked to the ground beside a river. The knight said, You too will build a palace here. Remember, each palace can be no longer or wider than 1 kilometer. Even those enormous demon races and sky beasts need to shrink to fit the designated space. There are no exceptions. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor nodded. They didn't see any palace that was over 1 square kilometer. Also, you can leave some authenticating objects in the palace to make sure you can God country teleport yourselves here, the knight said. You'll visit the island very often unless you die. If you have soul servants, don't bring them out. They will be destroyed by the lake. Keep them in the palace, as it's your place. Don't ever bring them out. Of course, botanic or metal life forms are the exceptions. We get it. Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor followed the instructions carefully. Come with me, the knight said and continued briefing them, as he was the guide. After a short while, they arrived at the tallest mountain where sat a towering palace that was 1,000 square kilometers. The owner of this island, unlike yours, is not restricted. The knight pointed at the towering palace and said, "That's the palace of the owner. Let's go." They walked up the mountain. "Look up," the knight said, pointing at the sky. They both followed the knight. "What is it?" Luo Feng saw something inconceivably spectacular. He could see a crack inside the lake, inside which a magnificent and extensive palace was located. There were 8 sub-palaces surrounding the glowing main palace. "That is the core of the school," the knight said admiringly. "That's the largest palace, which is the ancestral god palace, where the ancestral gods live. Although there are 3 ancestral gods, only one of them is sitting here. The 8 palaces around it are the beast god palace, where the beast gods reside. And there are around a dozen palaces around each beast god palace, which are the guarding beast god palaces. Outside the beast god palaces," continued the knight, "are the locations of 72 lands, only 63 of which are in our view, of course. And the 72 generals are living there. Each of the generals' land is as large as Borhinia Island. There are 3,000 stars on the margin, and those are 3,000 starry worlds, on which live the prophets. All these constitute the core of the ancestral god school." The knight sighed. "Other than these center places, there are lots of islands on the 5-color Aurora Lake, and there are many sub-members of the school living there." "Sub-members?" Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor looked at him in shock. "Yes. They're candidates of the prophets and deified generals, and powerful heirs of the beast god." The knight couldn't help laughing. "Humans, do you really think there's free food available in the universe? Remember, it's a fair universe, and our school is not a charity. We paid a huge price for the inheritance crystals of prophets and the land of inheritance of the generals and the beast gods. You'll certainly have to pay for it. However," continued the knight, "the school won't care much about the weak. That's why those who receive the inheritance of prophets and deified generals won't be required to work for the school unless they receive a complete inheritance. However, once one obtains the complete inheritance, like that of deified generals, the entire land of inheritance will crumble." Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. He recalled that he had been told something similar in the Demon Note General's land of inheritance, that if anyone received a complete inheritance, the entire land would disintegrate. "All the candidates of prophets and deified generals have received the complete inheritances," said the knight. "As for those following the path of beast gods, the most powerful ones have reached an extremely supreme level and are close to the complete inheritances. Note this, the school needs to pay a higher price for beast god inheritance, and those who are on the way to triumph will also need to sacrifice more. These are the sub-members. Then what about the guarding beast god palaces?" Luo Feng couldn't help asking. "Guarding beast gods are the ones who gain the complete beast god inheritance and have become masters of the universe," the knight explained. "They didn't become actually beast gods either because there were no vacancies, or they themselves didn't want to inherit the positions in the first place. After all, your power can be significantly improved after inheriting the position, but that's the end of it. Masters of the universe are the greatest and mightiest beings in the universe, no matter where they are," the knight continued. "The ancestral god school will respect their will and make them guarding beast gods even if they don't want to inherit the positions." Both Luo Feng and True Yang Emperor nodded. There was no such thing as a free meal, and everything came at a price. The ancestral god school wouldn't give resources away without being paid back. For those who had enough potential, the school didn't care for returns, whereas for those who could gain a complete inheritance, the school would demand something back. "Rest assured." The knight smiled. "The ancestral god school is arguably the freest power in the universe, and it has no intention of fighting for other territories. The dangers in the secret region are enough to intimidate other powers. Even if you become the sub-members of the school, you won't feel restricted." The knight shook his head. "Of course, it all means nothing if you can't even become a sub-member in the first place, which is difficult to begin with. No matter which path you're following, prophet inheritance, general inheritance, or beast god inheritance, they're all highly demanding." Luo Feng listened carefully and nodded. None of the hundreds of thousands of creatures in the land of Demon Note deified general inheritance managed to get the complete inheritance. However, the land accepted 32 creatures for every 10,081 eras, and the creatures there only tried for 50 million eras, which was a blink of an eye compared to the history of the universe. The owner of Borhinia Island is a guarding beast god. The knight looked at the towering palace. Guarding beast god. Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor followed him. There were quite a few sculptures on that palace. Some were like lizards, some were like roaring apes, and some were like birds. Although there were tens of thousands of sculptures, they could all be classified into 8 categories. Luo Feng understood them to be the images of the beast gods. In front of the palace of the island's owner was an enormous square, which was a section of a mountain. There were 3 flowing springs on the spectacular square, with their water coming seemingly from out of nowhere. However, the ground on the square was not wet at all. The knight, Luo Feng, and Tru Yang Emperor walked to the springs and looked at the door of the palace. "Get inside," the knight said. "My job is done here. I hope you can live longer on the island instead of falling, as you won't be able to come back with another token. I bet few races will give you a token twice." "Thank you, knight." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor appreciated the knight's instruction. The knight smiled and flew into the auroras like a beam of light. "Let's go, student." Tru Yang Emperor smiled. "Sure." Inside sat a human wearing a simple black cape. He had long blue hair and blue engravings. A dimming force was emanating from him, reserved yet terrifying. Luo Feng felt he must be at least a universe knight. A human? Luo Feng was startled. Is he the guarding beast god? Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor exchanged a glance. The guarding beast god was a human. The man stood up, looked at them, and smiled. "I didn't expect to see humans here. How wonderful. You guys can stop guessing. I'm only a servant of the island owner instead of a guarding beast god. My job is to guard the palace and message the island owner." A servant. Both Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor missed a heartbeat. A sole slave of a universe knight level? And he was a human. Of course, thought Luo Feng. If I can enslave the barbarian races, then the barbarian races can enslave humans, too. Besides, guarding beast gods are masters of the universe. It's not surprising for them to have a universe knight level slave. Luo Feng could only console himself in this manner. Tru Yang Emperor looked at the black-caped man and said, "We're the new heirs and are here to greet the guarding beast god." The man smiled. "You just wait here. I've already passed the message to the guarding beast god, but he's currently busy. Please be patient." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor gave each other a look. Let's just wait. They could only wait for the guarding beast god. After half a day of waiting, both Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor were tired out. Luo Feng asked, "When will the guarding beast god arrive?" "Be patient," the man said with another smile. "The issues the guarding beast god is dealing with are much more important, and you guys are not in a rush. According to the rules of the Ancestral God School, it will take the Ancestral God 10 years to show up. If the guarding beast gods know they can't make it in 10 years, other guarding beast gods will take over." 10 years. "It ranges from an instant to 10 years, said the sitting man. "The unluckiest guests I received in the past waited for 3 days shy of 10 years. So, please sit down and be patient." "Just wait." Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor sat down without knowing when they could meet the island owner. After 12 days, Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor sat on the courtyard of the palace with their eyes closed. Suddenly, they felt an almighty force surrounding the palace. They both opened their eyes instantly. It's the guarding beast god. They both stood up, and the knight was already inside the main hall. They heard a high voice from the hall say, "Come in." They both went in, and Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor saw a figure on the throne. It was a special life form in dragon shape. It possessed wings and strange armor on its body and looked down upon them. There were tongues of flames on the armor, which made Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor feel like they were being engulfed in fire, and the special creature was the controller of space. The dragon could kill them with a snap of its fingers. Guarding beast god, Luo Feng thought to himself. It should be following the path of fire, space. From now on, you're the heirs of Borhinia Island, the guarding beast god said. First of all, I'll grant you access to the world of glory. 2 mini-quantum computers appeared after it finished talking, and they flew to Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor. This is the receiver of the virtual world, said the guarding beast god. The world of glory is the virtual universe of the ancestral god school, and it's akin to humans' virtual universe. Although it's much smaller, they have similar functions. You'll know when you land on it. Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor took the receivers. I'll also grant you the access to the land of inheritance, the land of treasures, and the land of the secret region, the guarding beast god said. Did you see the 3 water curtains outside? Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor nodded. Water curtains? Weren't those springs? That's the portal, the guarding beast god continued. It's impossible for you to get in without my permission. The one on the left is the portal to the land of inheritance, the one in the middle is to the land of treasures, and the one on the right is to the land of the secret region. 3 water curtains are portals to 3 different places. The land of inheritance is where you accept the beast god inheritance, and you'll be tested how much you understand the laws. In the land of treasures are buried all the valuables left by the beast gods, guarding beast gods, and the powerful ones following the path of beast gods. There are a plethora of valuables there, and the seniors placed lots of barriers, restrictions, and requirements. Only if you satisfy the requirements of the seniors can you take treasures there. Not long ago, one of your humans gained a treasure. As for the land of the secret region, you can go there for adventures. The secret region of the ancestral god school is the most mysterious secret region in the universe, where reside the most special creatures and the most mystical riches. There are natural and crafted treasures alike. However, it's also the most menacing secret region, and the closer you get to the land of treasures, the more dangers there will be. Even universe knights can be killed, and even masters of the universe can be trapped. Prepare to die if you decide to adventure there. The land of inheritance, the land of treasures, and the land of the secret region, together with the world of glory, are the 4 places you need to be familiar with. Go build a palace first, and then go to the land of inheritance. The guarding beast god looked down on them. Go. Yes, island owner, they said. Luo Feng and Tru Yang Emperor saluted it before exiting. This video will end here.